Interesting. I started investing passively in multifamily in 2016, early 2016 with Joe. When I started investing, I didn't really invest with a lot of knowledge in what I was doing, which was sort of a little unusual for me. I tend to be, like many engineers, very deep in the details and looking at things in 5 different angles. But Joe and I met through a very, very close friend, a common close friend. And I, trusted her enough to know that she would not recommend something or someone to me that would be harmful to me in any way. A lot of my real estate experience prior to that had been mostly in, really small single family duplex kind of stuff, where the experience had been pretty mixed. And I wasn't really confident that real estate was the right place for me. So I said, you know what, let's give this a try. I invested in one of Joe's deals early 2016. It did really well. And then I told my wife, we need to do another one and see how that goes. So we did one more. And I said, this is interesting. It's not just, it's a really good way to create an investment portfolio and not have to do that much work compared to the hassles I had back in Boston being the landlord of a house. But it intrigued me enough that I said, I need to learn about this a lot more. So I told Joe, I said, tell me how I can learn. And he sent me like this truckload of online links. Like, I think it was 5-page long PDF with names of books and things. And I said, okay, this is not going to happen. But give me the top 3. And he said, okay, read this and this and see what you think. So I just read those. I read those books. One was, interestingly enough, Commercial Real Estate for Dummies by Peter Harris.
Have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
Great book though. Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
it actually intrigued me, right? Because another thing that connected me with that book was he himself was an engineer who transitioned into multifamily. And he talked about how engineers in general tend to be so reticent about interacting with people. You prefer interacting with things, intrigued me enough. I said, I'm going to study this more. So I read a couple of more books on his recommended list. And then here's what happened. I decided that I was going to approach Peter Harris and have him be my mentor, if that's possible. So I started tried to find people who had, coached under Peter Harris, and see if I could, get some references to understand if his coaching program was good enough. And while doing so, I discovered that Joe had been a student of Peter Harris.
Full circle.
Full circle. Yeah. So I approached Joe and I said, what do you think? And he said, look, it was a great program at the time he did it. He said, you need to find out from people who are doing it now, whether that makes sense for you, because the programs usually change, right? I mean, they don't remain static. And when I talk to people who do it now, the reviews were a little bit different because I think it's grown so much that he was no longer directly involved in the coaching.
Understood.
And my goal was I wanted to have a mentor who I could just pick up the phone and talk to, not go through 3 levels of assistant coaches doing that.
Sure.
Yes.